Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakakwadash, and I want to say Shalom to Yagnakwath out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. And this one's titled, Learn Your History. Alright, learn your history. And today, it comes from Reddit. It's from this little thing, and I looked it up, validated it, fact-checked it, right? It's this little meme. I think they call these guys a Wojak, right? This little character, a Wojak, and they style them in different ways for memes. I think that's what it is. And it says 1700s, lobster again. We feed this to prisoners. And then in the 1900s, this is a luxury delicacy. And so I wanted to validate this claim. So I looked it up, and I said, was lobster originally fed only to prisoners? And it says, yes. During the colonial era, lobster was abundant and considered a poor man's protein. And while it was widely fed to prisoners, indentured servants, and children, it was also used as a fertilizer and animal feed. Some servants even wrote stipulations into their contracts limiting how often they were fed lobster. Right? They're like, I don't want to fucking eat lobster that much, man. All right, my contract, you can only feed me lobster twice a week, maybe once a week. I don't know. All right, do not feed me this shit. Right? That's what they would do. Okay? So much so that they would write stipulations in their contract. Only once a week you're feeding me lobster. I'm not eating that shit any more than that. And then it all of a sudden became a delicacy. Now it says, AK lobsters were never ground up and fed to prisoners. Yeah, they were. Or maybe they weren't ground up, but it says to explore more about this dietary shift, you can look at the history of the lobster at Spoon University, or read a perspective on Reddit regarding historical lobster myths. Let's see. Let's read this. What does it say? It says, the history of lobster canning, a.k.a. lobsters were never ground up and fed to prisoners, shell and all. Oh, well, that just means they weren't fed shell and all. Let's see. Let's go to the lobster at Spoon University. Let's see what it gives us. So it says, how lobster went from prison food to an expensive delicacy. It says, I'm not sure about you, but lobster is a rare treat in my household because it's so expensive. Just look at Luke's Lobster. They charge $16 for a fairly small Maine-style lobster roll. Honestly, who wants to pay all that for a minuscule amount of meat? And did I ever have lobster? I don't think I ever have had lobster ever in my life. I've had crab, and I thought it tasted like shit, and everyone's always trying to, you didn't have good. It was on the California coast. It was Dungeness lobster, some of the best you can get. I didn't like it. It tastes like fucking crab. It tastes how they smell. I didn't like it. I think it tastes like shit. The only time I ever liked crab was in not crab roll. I guess they would be like crab rolls or like an Asian. I only liked it raw, usually, like in like sushi, because they do like raw crab sushi, and I liked it then. That's the same way I liked fish. I don't really like the taste of fish too much, but we're not supposed to be eating shit raw either, so I don't have sushi like that now at all. But that used to be my favorite food, was sushi. I used to like raw salmon and like that's like nigiri. That shit was good. But just because it tastes good don't mean you should be doing it, right? You learn that when you come to this truth. We're not here to please our flesh. We're here to be pleasing to the Spirit, i.e. pleasing unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahawashi. Okay? It says, continuing on, it says, but let me tell you, the lobster I often longed for wasn't such a rare delicacy back in the day. Actually, it was considered much less than that. It was considered straight up garbage. So how did lobster go from complete crap to a fine diner that the elite eat? You ask? Well, to find out, you're going to have to hear some history, and thanks to Business Insider and History Channel, we got the scoop. Here we go. Back when the first European settlers came over to North America, they said that there were just so many dang lobsters that they would pile up 2 feet high and wash ashore in Massachusetts Bay Colony. Just imagine, lobsters on lobsters on lobsters. And again, there were so many lobsters, and again, the ocean was cleaner back then because there were so many lobsters. They cleaned the ocean. Same with crabs, same thing with catfish, that's lakes. But all these different places, and that's why the oceans are so dirty, is because Esau keeps on harvesting these creatures that are meant to clean and not be eaten. And now the ocean isn't getting cleaned to its full efficiency, all right? The Lord had them in there for a reason, and you're taking them out. you're having them taken out to eat in abundance. Not one or two, not three or four, not that you should be eating them at all, but thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands, right? And it's just ridiculous, man. It says, and instead of this leading to a seafood festival like celebrations and clam bake, like the clam bake, colonists were just super embarrassed by all of it, and they called them cockroaches of the sea. These hard-shell creatures were often used as fertilizer and fish bait because there were so many of them around. Lobster was known as the poor man's meal because the overabundance of these guys made it easy for people with no money to get their protein. In fact, these crustaceans were fed to prisoners, apprentices, and slaves. However, this started to change in the mid-1800s because of canned foods in trains. Lobster became popular, one of the most Lobster actually became one of the most popular canned products on the market. And although canned lobster doesn't sound too fresh and appealing to me, I guess you got to do what you got to do when you don't live near the East Coast and need some inexpensive food. It says, with train tickets becoming affordable, more and more people are also heading out to New England cities. This made fresh lobster even more popular, and because of this new demand in the 1880s, restaurants and markets were able to mark up the prices, so supply and demand. So many people wanted it because it's cheap, and now that so many people want it, they've made it expensive. All right, and now that they made it expensive, people think it's a delicacy. It's fucking dumb. It says, so by World War II, lobster was considered a delicacy, and as a result, what once was a poor man's meal became only affordable to them richer peeps. So learn your history. Learn your history. I don't want to read anymore. No, that was it. That was the whole article. So, yeah, man. Lobster's, peasant food. Okay? It's peasantry. They shouldn't be eating it. You shouldn't be eating it regardless because the Lord told you not to eat it. You can go and get Leviticus 16? 1 minute. It's not 18, I don't think. Leviticus 11. We'll switch it over to the King James Version here. Matter of fact, no, we'll leave it in the NIV. All right, we'll get it. Right at the top says clean and unclean food. And what we're getting is, there's a lot in here, but we're going to one area specifically. Verse 9, and this is the NIV. Of all the creatures living in the water of the seas and the streams, you may eat any that have fins and scales. But all creatures in the seas or streams that do not have fins and scales, whether among the swarming things or among the other living creatures in the water, you are to regard as unclean. And since you are to regard them as unclean, you must not eat their meat. You must regard their carcasses as unclean. And it says anything living in the water that does not have fins and scales is to be regarded as unclean by you. There you go. So you're not supposed to eat it. Not supposed to eat it. And a lot of people say, oh, well, when Jesus came back, he made all things clean. No, he didn't. All right, and they like to use that scripture. I can't remember what it is, where it talks about it's not what enters into a man that makes him unclean, but that what comes out. And that's, a lot of people take that as a context of like, food isn't what makes you unclean, but you got to realize the context that was talking that. It was about holding traditions. All right, that's what that whole scripture was talking about, is holding traditions. And the Pharisees were mad, all right, that the disciples didn't wash their hands, and and then the Lord interjected. All right, that's where it started with. But again, that was dealing with, it's not what enters into a man. As far as because they were washed with unwashed hands. Their food's unclean. No, all right. He directly rebuked that. That's what that was talking about. But again, Christians like to take everything out of context, as they do, as they tend to do, as they love to do, because they don't really have the understanding. And that's fine. That's fine. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it. Right? But this is why you got to understand your history. Okay? This is why you got to learn your history. What else? Well, whatever. It wants to exit out. That's fine. So let's get Jeremiah 10 and 2. Let's switch back over to the King James. King James. How am I talking like, what was his name? From 007. Shaken, not stirred. I can't remember his name. Anyway, Let's get Jeremiah 10 and 2. Excuse me. Fuck it. Jeremiah 10 and 2. King James Version. It says, "Thus saith the Lord." We'll go from 1. Now, mind you, this is all New England. This is all, look, Edomite stuff, man. This is Edomite stuff. We were never, we were always commanded to be separate from amongst the nations, all right? To be ye holy, for I am holy, all right? Separate means set apart, all right? Have a different purpose. We were never supposed to be following them in the first place. But you got Jake out here, and who do you see eating it the most? It's Jake, man. You see Jake, especially the black woman, chomping down. It's Jake with those seafood boils, man. All right? I guarantee if I look up seafood boil, you're going to see a bunch of black folk. I see white people eating too, but again, white people are obsessed with Jake. You know, you got Jake, they got a soul food restaurant. You know, Edomites are going to start going to a soul food restaurant as well. Fall right behind. Mukbang, that's always Asians. Look at the first two, though. A black woman. No one eats more seafood than the black woman. That's why the black woman's pussy stinks so fucking bad. Alright? Look. It's not gonna say it, but it says it. Alright? Instead, because seafood throws off your pH. Alright? Does seafood throw off your... Look, black woman even looking it up. Does seafood throw off your pH? Yes, it does. Seafood will not typically alter your in your internal vaginal pH. Yes, it will. Oh, but it can temporarily affect your body's scent. Okay? Seafood contains trimethylamine, trimethylamine, a chemical compound that can excrete through your bodily sweat and fluid, leading to a faint, fishy aroma. All right, that's the thing. You know, these black women are eating that shit all the time, and Latino women as well. That's why their fucking pussy fucking stink. Sorry, not sorry. But Jeremiah 10 and 1 through 2, this is why you shouldn't be following after these individuals, man. It says, "Hear ye the word which the Lord spaketh unto you, O house of Israel." Okay, it says what? "Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them." We're not supposed to be learning the way of these individuals. And then, no, I've seen it, man. I've seen it on YouTube video. Anytime there's one of these mukbangs, anytime there's one of these videos where these black women go, they're eating seafood. They're going to crab boils. They're going to fish fries using catfish. They're eating crab. They're eating lobster. That's what's going on, man. All right? And sorry, not sorry, that's why your fucking twat stinks, man. And it's been said. It's been said. Because that excretes through your fucking skin. So you're walking around smelling like a fish. Because you ever heard the saying, you are what you eat? Right? My pussy don't stink. I bet the fuck it do. Alright? And don't worry. I don't want to come around you to fucking find out. Alright? But I bet the fuck it do. Alright? I bet the fuck it do. Okay? So let's get Psalms 106. Psalm 106 and 34. And you men too, you eat seafood, your fucking nutsack gonna smell crazy. All right, it's the same thing with you as well. It's gonna exude. All right, it's gonna exude through your body. It's gonna exude through your sweat. Everybody knows nuts sweat. All right, nuts, armpits. All right, all that's gonna sweat. So you know what? You're gonna have a fucking fishy smell. And first of all, you get with the girls that are doing that. All right, so you're gonna be smelling fishy too, right? If I dip my hand down into a fish tank, my hand's gonna come out smelling a little fishy. So slack you for the vulgarity, but if you dip your rod down in the fish tank, well, Psalm 106 and 34, it says through 36, slack you. All right, dealing with what Israel, like, because we've routinely, all right, our people routinely have done this. Okay, but this is the Lord showing you right here. Psalms 106, 34 through 36, 34 first. It says, they did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them. Because again, the Lord commanded back then, he said, go and destroy these nations. All right, don't commingle with them. All right, don't get to know them. Go and destroy them. All right, now in this modern society, we've been told to not learn any of their ways. All right, not go and commingle and like that. And again, because you commingle like that, you're going to become partial. All right, you're like, well, what they're doing is not too bad. What they're doing is not too bad. It's bad. All right, but now you've gone over, now you've got soft. You got soft on them. All right, you've gone sweet on them. Okay? And now you don't want to, their food's actually pretty good. Well, you wouldn't know what their food was like if you didn't fucking go around them, right? 34, they did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them. In the modern day age, you did not refuse to learn from them where the Lord commanded you, right? That's the modern day version, right? So, because all throughout the scripture talks about being holy, and staying separate from these worldly individuals, but you want to go around, you fucking hanging around, all of a sudden you're gonna end up a seafood boil. Come on, just eat some. Come on. And fuck around and eat some, and get your ass destroyed. 35, it says, but were mingled among the heathen, and learned their works, and served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Now, it doesn't mention it, but another thing was, and ate their foods, right? Ate all their foods. Dressed like them, talked like them, walked like them, right? And and there's so many things that we can do that are of ourselves, Jake. All right, that we're allowed to do. Okay, I was looking into everything that I look up. Everything I look up, it always goes back to Jake. Okay, for example, being a person that's into heavy metal and rock, there's these things called battle jackets, right? And that's what we call them, at least. And they're just vests we make, and we sew patches on it, right? And they look like this in varying degrees. Some go crazy overboard. Some of them look like this. Some of them look like that. Some of them go all the way, all over patches and whatever. And I was curious. Here's one where it goes like all over, all right? But some of them only have a couple patches. That's like a black metal one, But some only have a few, something like that. Some have a lot. And I was looking into them, and I said, because I like them, and I was like, are these, heathenistic, right? Because, I wear one, and I'm like, I just want to make sure. I'm like, are these heathenistic? Because you try to avoid anything that's heathenistic. And while you do see a lot of heathens wearing them, I mean, at the end of the day, you're just customizing a jacket, right? Nothing's wrong with that, as long as you don't have no wicked shit on it. Like, you see a lot of people put upside-down crosses and stuff. Mine ain't got no... They're right there. Look, upside down cross. Another one with upside down cross. Another one with upside down cross. Mine don't got no upside down crosses or anything like that. Just bands you like. You might have Metallica, or I wouldn't put Judas Priest because again that name goes back to Judas Iscariot. Which it's the evil name for a band. Black Sabbath. I mean, I like Black Sabbath. They're a good band. I like Ozzy Osbourne and all that stuff, but I won't want anything that says Black Sabbath. I mean, it could be a little bit overboard, but same thing. I mean, but I'd get like a Metallica patch or something like that, or Iron Maiden, or a Dio. All right, I actually got a Dio patch on mine. Metallica. I don't like Disturbed, but stuff like that. That's fine. There's bands that I like. I mean, I like some of Judas Priest's music, but I'm not gonna have anything that says Judas Priest on my shit. But I was looking into this, and where did battle jackets come from? And they originally started on Sly and the Family Stone. He's one of the original. There he is. He's one of the original ones. They give him credit for, but that started customizing, vests and putting patches and, customizing clothing and all that type of stuff, right? So, but you see, like, the battle jackets and the vests, you see it in the metal community and the punk community. The punk community, mind you, started with black people in general, all right? And a lot of the metal community wouldn't be around if it wasn't for the rock community, and the rock community wouldn't be around if it wasn't for the blues community, and the blues community wouldn't be around if it wasn't for black folk, because black folk started blues, all right? And blues evolved, and rock evolved from the blues, all right? And mind you, rock was already, black people had a direct cause in that. It wasn't just blues and someone came along. No, you had Little Richard. He was fundamental and really creation of the rock and roll, because back then blues was slower. He sped it up. Bam, bam, a little hour, bam, 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 right? He speeded up, and it's, again, it doesn't sound exactly like rock, but it's the progenitor. And then it got different and different and different, and it twisted, and Jake twisted over years. And if you really want to get in, like, I mean, one of the best fucking musicians as far as psychedelic rock goes, Jimi Hendrix, man. Jimi Hendrix, and he was a Jake for sure, right? Jimi Hendrix. I actually looked his outfits up to see if he was wearing stuff with patches on it and stuff, and he was known for making his own outfits, right? So some people might say, oh, this is a little out there, a little heathenistic, but it's really not heathenistic at the end of the day, because guess what? Jake came up with this, and it only looks heathenistic because heathens took it over, because that's what Esau does. They take our shit over, right? You'll see modern musicians dressing like this, right? No, that's all Jake, man. That's all Jake, right? Look at all these things. Patch jackets. All these different types of things. All started with Jake. Just the other day, I talked about how the skinhead movement, before it took over by the racists, it was a Jake movement, a Benjamite movement, right? And that's why you got to learn your history. Learn your history. That's the title of the lesson. Learn your history, right? And then metal evolved from that. Metal evolved from rock, okay? And again, like, a lot of the white people, yeah, but again, you don't know how many of those people were speckled birds. You don't know how many of those people were actually, how much Jake was instrumental behind the scenes. And of course, they're not going to give Jake credit, right? You know how much how much we had to dive into it just to find out that it was a black man that primarily was the one who made the IBM Model M keyboard, the one keyboard that we know about today, the QWERT layout that comes up right now. This came from IBM. A black man created the exact springs that were needed for that. It wouldn't have even happened without him. But again, they say, it was a whole joint effort. Look, if I created the foundation and the idea of hat, if someone came along with, I don't know, a fucking bill to a hat, well, at the end of the day, he didn't really do much, because he wouldn't have even had it if I hadn't created the rest of the foundation, right? So, it's just one of those things, man. Learn your history. Learn your history. And when you do that, you'll learn how much has been taken from us, right? So you'll learn how much has been taken from us, how much has been, as they say, gentrified and stolen and equated to something of the white man's. No. I bet if you look into it, skateboarding probably started with black people. Did skateboarding start with black people? They'll probably say no, because they don't give any credit. It's going to be the original white people, Lords of Dogtown, like that movie. But where did they learn it from? No one at all? It says, no, skateboarding did not start with black people, but African Americans, as they say, played a pivotal role in the sport's innovation, popularization, and culture since its inception. Look at this. It says, the roots of skateboarding go back to 1950s California, where skaters created sidewalk surfboards. You can see this in the movie Lords of Dogtown, I believe. It says, wheels so they could ride the pavement when there was no waves. Because surf culture originated in affluent, predominantly white coastal communities, the first skateboarders were white. That's what they say. You don't think there was any black surfers back then? Sure. However, black skaters quickly became instrumental in the sport's evolution. That's the thing with Jake. All right, we're the salt of the earth. So even if we didn't make it, we're the ones that popularize it. All right. It says early pioneers, African American youth, were building makeshift boards. Israelites. Skating in the streets in areas like Southside Chicago and L.A. as early as the late 1950s and 60s. How'd they find out about it, though? How'd they find out about it? They weren't in California. They were all in Chicago. How'd they find out about it? See? First professional. Marty Grimes emerged in the 1970s, one of the first black professional skateboarders, joining the renowned Z-Flex team, becoming the first Israelite to receive a signature skateboard deck. There you go. Yep. That's what they do, man. They take our shit, and meanwhile, so that's what I'm saying, Jake. We have a lot of our own shit, but you want to take what the Edomites don't really have anything, right? But you just have to have it, right? Here it is. Jake created all this different types of music, all this different type of style, all these different types of clothes, all this different, artworks and all these different types of things. But it's just not good enough for you. You have to go and get some of the white man's bullshit, right? The white man doesn't have much that he's created. It's pretty much all been created by us. But every time Jake go and do something, it's something that wasn't created by us, like eating. You know what the fucked up shame is? A lot of the fish fries and stuff were created by us as well. All right, the way of how to cook it, right? So that's the problem, but it doesn't mean it's still right. But it's a heathenistic thing to eat those foods to begin with. Just because you season up it's Jake, a culture the way we season up. Yeah, but don't mean it's right. Yeah, you're the one who got the Old Bay, all right, and exactly how to do it, and the cookout culture and all that stuff. Yes, but the food, the core of the food is that it was not your culture to eat that. Really, it was no one's culture to eat that, but the heathens did it because they're ungodly. Okay. So, anyway, Romans 12:2, as we were commanded to, not be near this place, 12:2, spiritually. We're supposed to be spiritually afar, okay? So, Romans 12:2, it says, and be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh. So, we are supposed to do the will of Yahweh. It's not the will of Yahweh that we eat unclean animals, right? They're there for a reason. And they're unclean for a reason. But it talks about renewing, all right? If you go and get a renewed, if you go to GameStop, you can get a renewed system. What does that mean? It was used, but they made it new again. They fixed it up, they did stuff, and they made it like new again. So being like new again would mean that we are going back to the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that he implemented us into our forefathers, which would mean we would go back to not eating those things, okay? That's what we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be, again, like I mentioned time and time, every time I talk about it, Jake's willing to die over a fish. Jake is willing to die over a fish, and it's some of the most fucking simple-minded, low-brained, troglodyte-ass shit. All right? Troglodyte-ass shit. You can go and look that up. What does it mean? What does it mean to call someone a troglodyte? Okay? Calling someone a troglodyte is an insult that means they're boorish, unrefined, and completely out of touch with modern society. It likens someone to an archaic caveman who's deliberately ignorant, unsophisticated, and avoids societal progress. Well, they put that in there. And avoids, the tradition, all right, in favor of the, modernity. We want it all to be modern. All right, well, that's fine. All right, if everybody told you if it was modern to stop wiping your ass and leave your your butt cheeks chock full of doo-doo, would you do that? I bet you wouldn't, Jake. Matt, no, I take that back. You probably would. You probably would, honestly, because you're a fucking follower. Our people are fucking followers, man. They see Esau jumping off a bridge. What's going on, man? You jumping off a bridge? I want to do it, too. I want to be like the white guys. It's probably because either you're a super coon or you're an Edomite, too. He's an Edomite, you an Edomite, you're an Edomite, you're an Edomite. Wouldn't you like to be an Edomite too? Right? Proverbs 14:4. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Make this easier for you. Easy to read version. Don't take the path of the wicked. Don't follow those who do evil. Don't follow the white man. Envy not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Right? We just got that the other day. But you love them, all right? You love them, all right? Especially the black woman. She loves the Edomite, all right? If she found out tomorrow that the Edomite was going away, no, not the Edomite, please, I love them. All right, what am I doing here? Because as the, excuse me, as the Apostle Har mentions, the black woman's the Edomite's pit bull. All right, if you ain't careful, he'll sick her on you, too. She had a mean bite. Romans 8:5, it says, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. And that's point blank simple, all right? Those that actually care and are trying to, do what's right unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, they're going to do things that are right unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Those that are worried about pleasing, I like the way that it tastes. I like the way that it tastes. Well, then go and die then, you fucking dullard, all right? Fucking waste of space, waste of breath. Go and eat it then. We don't give a fuck. No, brother, stop destroying it. Stop. Go ahead and do it. We don't give a shit. You want to go eat pork? Go eat pork. You want to go and eat it? That's fine. Don't listen to us. That's fine. We don't give a shit. All right? But just know the Lord's going to tear your ass up, and we're not going to save you. We can't save you from it. Not once you're in the Lord's hands. All right? Who can deliver out of his hands, as the scriptures say? No one. No one can do it. We can't. So we can warn you ahead of time, but that's it. All right? If you're not going to listen to us, you're not going to listen to us. We can't help you once you're, once that bear trap's fucking clamped around your goddamn ankle, we can't help you out. We told you to avoid it. Hey, watch out. There's a bear trap up there. It's going to get you. It's in the bush. Stop walking. Hey, you're going to, someone help me. You over there. Help me. Help me. I told you not to go over there. I know. I didn't listen. Help me. No, I can't. I don't have the key. I can't get you out of it now. All right? I can't get you out of it. I tried to warn you not to go over there. I said, look out. I said, watch out. I said, don't go near there. I said, there's a big bear trap, and he's going to get you. And you said, no, there ain't. There ain't no bear trap. There ain't no bear trap over here. Whack. There was a bear trap. Well, I tried to warn you. And I don't got the key to open this bear trap now. Only Yahweh Shem Shai does. I can't save you from that. I can't deliver that from you. No brother can. Not the apostles out of the great millstone. Not the elders. Not the brothers. No one. No one can save you from that. That's the Lord. And if you didn't listen, all right, to the men that were sent to warn you, what are we supposed to do? We can't help you out of that. We can only warn you. That's what we are sent by. We are sent by Yahweh Shem Shai to be preachers and warn you of the imminent danger. We don't deliver you out of the danger. We warn you of the danger. We don't grab your hand and save you from it. We throw you out the life buoy. If you don't grab onto it, we can't get you another one. That's it. That's as much as we can do is we can throw the light raft. We can't make you grab onto it. We can hey, I'm going to throw a raft. Look, I'm going to throw it right now. And if you say, all right, listen to that shit. What more can we do? All right? What more could we do? And even if we did jump in that water and get your ass out of this, even if we did have the key and we pulled you out of it, then guess what? Right after we did that, you'd still go back to being your same old wicked ass self right after, right? So, even if we could help you, we wouldn't, right? Because, it's one of those things. No good deed goes unpunished. You ever heard that? Even if we did try to help you, you just fucking curse us out and call us idiots and ignorant and stupid and hateful and all these different things. So we're not going to help you, right? We're not going to help someone out that it acts like that. Okay, we're not going to help you. All right, you're wicked. No, you're wicked. We warned you. We told you what to do and what not to do through Yahweh Shem Shai because he told us what to do and what not to do. And through his scriptures, we told you what he told you not to do and what to do. But you didn't listen. And by not listening to us, you didn't listen to the Lord because he sent his servants the prophets to warn you, but you didn't listen. All right, you turned the other cheek. And that's fine. But now you're going to die because of it. And that's fine. Go and die over a fish, Jake. That's fine. We don't care. But for you that actually do care, learn your history. Learn your history. So that's where we're going to close out. Lord willing, the lesson was edifying. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Shalom, you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring. Keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing. Shalom.